love to introduce you guys to Lady Alida Francis. She is our Government Commissioner of St. Eustatius. And fun fact, she's my neighbor. I grew up next to her for years before moving to Miami, but we have remained in close contact, and I love to call her our Oprah of Statia. Wow. She is quite the lady. So, you ready for these questions that we're going to ask you about Statia?
I'm absolutely delighted to do this interview with you, Sashi.
Yes. Take it away and get her point of view, because we know it's a great one and we want to share it with you guys. Okay, so our first question we have for you is, St. Eustatius, aka Statia as us locals call it, has such a vibrant and colorful history. What would you say is your most favorite historical tale?
It's an interesting question, and it will take me back to my years when I studied journalism in the Netherlands. And one of the final articles I had to write, I chose to write about the typical station house. And while doing my research on that article, I came across very interesting stories about the typical station house. And the one that stays with me the most is the story where in the 1920s and 1930s, stations lived in these typical houses. And to relocate a house, and now you can't imagine relocating a house, but back in the day, people actually did that, and they would use round wooden beams, and they would position the house on those beams, and they would gradually roll it, lots of men, including women, and they will gradually roll it from one location to the other. And I think what is important in that story is how creative our people are, but also how they worked together. And I think those are the two good things that comes out of this Statia story.
What would you want the world to know about Statia?
What I would like the world to know about Statia, St. Eustatius, is that it is one of the tiniest dots in the world, but it's also a place that when you come to visit, it's unlike any other place in the world, and it feels like coming home. When you come to Statia, you meet stations, you will meet them on the street, you will meet them at the famous hotspots, and within a matter of moments you feel like you are talking to someone you would have known for a very long time. People greet you, and then there needs not be a reason to greet you otherwise than that you're a fellow human being. It does not matter if you're a stranger or someone who has left for many years and returned, you get the same hospitality. So Statia, you choose to come here, it's unlike anywhere else in the world. Let me tell you another thing about Statia. And I always say it's not for everyone. Statia is a place you either like it or you don't. And there's nothing in between, right?
Correct.
And even when you think you don't like Statia, when you leave Statia and the aircraft sets off, you get that feeling in your gut and you realize, yes, I actually do like Statia.
Yes.
So, you know, it's not for everyone. There are very few people who won't, in the end, really like Statia.
Exactly. Because we all tend to love the Golden Rock.
Of course.
What is something you wish wouldn't change on Statia?
There are a number of things on Statia that I would not like to see change. And that is because the way I see Statia is the way the rest of the Caribbean used to be 15, 20, 25 years ago. The things that we still do here that are very unique are, for instance, pulling in the seine. When the fishermen go out to sea and there's a large catch of fish in the net is pulled to shore, and to do this you need as many hands as possible. Women, men, children, and of course everyone get their share of the catch. Another thing that I really love is even at death or at the burial site, it is not uncommon to see a man nicely dressed in his suit help mixing the mortar, cement, that is used on the grave at the burial site. Another thing that we do here in Statia that is very unique is that if I'm building a home, and most people start off building their homes on their own strength, without going to the bank, without going to having a mortgage, what we would do here on Statia is all you need is a nice pot of food, some cold drinks, and you have as many hands as possible to help you build your home. Those are great things about Statia that I would not like to see changed.
As a well-traveled individual, in your opinion, what makes Statia unique compared to other Caribbean islands?
What makes Statia unique to other Caribbean islands is a genuine hospitality of the Statian people. When you go anywhere in the world, people are well trained for hospitality and tourism. And when you come to Statia, Statians have it very naturally. It's not rehearsed, it's natural. And that is what makes it real, unrehearsed. That is what Statia offers, what you can't find anywhere else in the world. And another factor that I would like to add to that, not many places in the world can say that they are truly safe. Safety is second to nowhere in the world. Statia is still a place where you can leave your doors unlocked. Of course, we do have elements of crime, like everywhere else, but it is not to the extent that we feel unsafe. And so I can say to anyone who wants to come to Statia, whether to live or to visit, you're going to be well at home here, safe as nowhere else in the world.
What's your favorite memory growing up on Statia?
My favorite memory growing up on Statia, and I can share with you that I was a tomboy. You know, I played with the boys, I pitched marbles, I went swimming without the permission of my mother. And she would know that I went swimming because, of course, you know, my type of hair. And she would comb it very nicely in the morning and nicely greased and nicely combed. And of course, when you go to the beach and you return home, it would be filled with sand. But the favorite memory I have growing up, I grew up on Paramirawer. That is in, I always call it Oranjestad North. And there I played with my friends such as Lorraine Bass, Elvia Mitchell, Makiba Mitchell, Bernadine Pant. We played in the streets. We played ball in the streets. We would go to where we call now the cottage ball field. That was a large plantation where yams and potatoes were grown. And what we did is we would steal the potatoes and we would roast them on a fire. And those were fun things growing up on Statia that you could do. We did not have internet, we did not have TV. We did just fun things that children did back then, and we did not feel that we missed out on anything.
Right.
You know, as simple as it seems, it was fun. And we stole the potatoes, but it was the art of cooking it on a fire, roasting it, and it would taste exactly the way a baked potato would taste now. Nowadays, put in the oven, but back then we just had to be creative, and it was sweet potatoes, and who don't like
exactly.
sweet potatoes?
Everybody loves those. That's a great memory.
Yes, it does.
What's your favorite thing to do on Statia when you have some free time?
I'm going to take a few steps back in time because of where I am today. For 40 years, what I did a lot with my free time is I invested my free time in developing youth talent on Statia. I worked with young people, helping them to realize their own potential. I taught them about public speaking, how to perform on a stage, how to be an ambassador if you would need to go abroad to represent the islands. I did that for about 40 years. And the reason I did it is because there were persons that did that for me. I always felt compelled to give back something to my community. So I'm thankful to persons like my mother, Marcella Francis, my deceased aunt Christine Flanders, Miriam Smith, who's also deceased, and Mr. Ellis Lopes, who is still alive today. And because of them, I could give back. But what I got back in return is that I today can see a lot of the young people that I invested in. They are now the young men and women who are doing what I did. And so I can look at Megadi, who has a wonderful program for young people. I can look at Makiba Mitchell, who is now an entrepreneur and do some of the fun things on the island. I can look at Shahida Fleming, who used to be in all my talent shows along with you and your sister Vanessa. And she's now a prominent young businesswoman, but also someone who's also in the arts and the culture. I can look at Problem Child, who we call Junior Quarter, and he too is in the entertainment business, and I can see them all giving back to communities. So it has virtually come full circle for me to see what was done for me, what I've done for others because what was done for me, and what they are doing now for others because what I did for them. And so I don't have that much spare time anymore. And you know why?
Yes, it's so busy.
That I spend a lot of hours in my garden.
Nice.
And so I love gardening and planting. And sometimes I'm in the garden on average on a Saturday like 6 or 7 hours.
Wow, putting in the work.
Putting in the work, and then I plant a lot of flowers, and of late I'm planting fruit trees.
Oh, nice.
So
what's the latest fruit tree you planted?
Right now I have some papaya seeds.
Oh, nice.
And they're little slips now, and I hope to transplant them to the soil, let's say in another 2 weeks. I have about 14. I plan to keep about 5. And the rest I will give away as gifts.
I want to know, what is your favorite local dish on Statia? It may be a long list, but feel free to share.
To tell you the truth, everybody who knows me, they know I really love food. I mean, I'm not going to hide that. And I love local food. My favorite, actually, I can't choose, but there are 2 favorites. My first favorite is anything with red snapper. Red snapper prepared any style. Any style red snapper with cornmeal. And then my second favorite is a well-chewed goat meat with peas and rice. Preferably pigeon peas and some nice fried plantains.
Oh, making me hungry. It sounds so
I don't want to talk about food.
good.
Yeah, but we have some great cooks on Statia.
Oh, we sure do.
And we see even more creativity brought into food on Statia, and that's a good thing. But I will always stick, if there's a menu and there's goat meats or there's fish, it would be first fish, then goat meat.
Nice,
yes.
Good choices.
Yeah.
Our final question for you is, what are your hopes for the future of Statia?
My hopes for the future of Statia and all the people of Statia is that we never give up on the spirit of resilience and endurance. The time in which we are right now, I believe this is Statia's time. You told me you're back after 2 years, and you can see with your own eyes the progress that we are making as stations.
Absolutely.
It is a progress that we have waited on for a very long time. And while other islands moved ahead way past us, I don't feel as if we are playing catch up. It just was not our time then. But it is Statia's time now. And what makes me feel confident in the spirit of resilience is that I see our young people are becoming very entrepreneurial. All sorts of creative ideas they are turning into business. They are looking at what the island really needs in terms of business, and they are making it happen. You have from the school breakfast program to the program where you can have an exclusive private party on the beach for two, or to the home decoration, to the decoration for events, to you name it. I just see a spirit of entrepreneurship, and incredibly, when in other parts of the world, because of the pandemic of the last 16 months, and you see businesses closing, in my new function as government commissioner, weekly I sign a lot of business permits. People who are really opening their own business, and I see that as Statia, people saying this is our time and we're grabbing the opportunities that are there before us. That is a good thing.
So that was a wrap. She did such a great job. It was such an honor and a pleasure to interview Miss Lady Alida Francis. And we just want to thank you for your time and all that you're doing for Statia. We are so proud of you. And like I said before, Statia is so lucky to have you.
Yes, completely agree. She's worked very hard to get where she is today, and she's one of the best people, I think, for this position, because she has so much experience. She loves Statia. It's deeply rooted in us, same like it is with us, and we just want the world to experience Statia and love it the same way we do.
Yeah. Thank you, Shashi and Nessa, for having me. And everybody knows if I grow, Statia grows.
For sure.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Facts. That's so true. So, Romies, we hope you loved our interview with Miss Alida Francis. And when you come to Statia, you can say hi to her, because she will say hi right back. You don't have to be afraid.
Exactly.
She's a famous lady. Yeah, she's a famous lady on the island, but it doesn't matter. Same like we mentioned before, everybody on Statia is just very genuine, and yeah, if you need directions, you could probably even ask us still too.
Exactly.
So thanks for tuning in, Romies, and we hope you guys just enjoying seeing Statia through our eyes. Bye.
Bye.